It really truly is an honor for me and in some place I never expected to be. I have very common roots. I came from a blue collar background. You probably know I was in the construction trade for 35 years. I've raced stock cars, I've raced snowmobiles. My boots have been firmly on the ground throughout my whole life. Being governor and having those common roots, I think, has been so important because I certainly can associate myself with some of the challenges that Vermonters face. And I literally put myself in their shoes and ask, what can I do to help? What can we do to be better? There are a lot of similarities with racing, stock cars, and politics and governing. It really is. You're in an environment that's very fast paced. Things happen quickly. You always have to be prepared. You have to make sure your car is prepared, but you have to be prepared mentally for what's ahead, and you have to keep your cool. You can't get overexcited because you can't win a race in the first lap, right? You have to make it through. You have to make it through the distance, but always planning ahead. What's the next step, and what is going to happen if you do X? And in racing, I've always tried to race clean, so to speak. I race people the way they race me, and that has benefited me. I've won a lot of races as a result because people remember how you treat them, right? It may not be your day, so sometimes you just have to accept that and let someone else win, and then when it's your day, maybe they'll return the favor. And 9 times out of 10, that happens. Let the race come to me. Like, I accept that I'm racing the racetrack. You always have to have a good team that you surround yourself with. And that's something that I've been very blessed to have. I have felt, whether it's in racing or politics or in business, you can put all the best people in the world together, most talented people together, and if they don't have any symmetry, they don't have the chemistry, then they don't succeed. And so it's really about finding the right mix and having the capability and the working together and to work together as a team. The driver is just one tiny piece of the puzzle, and we get all the accolades, the applause, and all the notoriety that comes along with it. But it's really the team that makes it happen. And that's part of the success we've seen with Vermont, even through COVID. I mean, it's just the team is Team Vermont. And I think that's lent itself well to where we are today. When I first got involved in politics 22 years ago plus, I really had no interest in politics whatsoever. I decided to get involved because I was in business, and I thought those folks in Montpelier just have no idea what they're doing to me as a business owner. They just don't understand because they're not in business. And I think we need different perspectives. I think we need different people there to fully understand that. And I started complaining more and more about that. And finally, I looked at myself in the mirror and thought, maybe instead of complaining so much, maybe I should step up. Maybe I should be part of the solution. And I soon found out and soon learned there's a lot of gray in between the black and the white. And it's, again, how you treat others and how you treat people. When I was first in the Senate for those 10 years, I always served in the minority. I've never served in the majority, but I was one of 2 Republicans who received a chair. And it was by then Senator Welch. He decided to appoint me as a chair of a committee. And it wasn't because of my politics, my philosophy. We didn't agree there, but he trusted me. And he knew that I was doing things for the right reasons. And again, that's when I talked about racing and how the way you treat others is the way they're going to treat you and vice versa. And that holds true again today. I think people have to trust you. They may not agree with you, but if they trust you, that's half the battle. Vermonters share a strong sense of community. They want to help one another. They care about one another. They're also fiercely independent, and that's what makes our state so special. They want to give a helping hand. I think it speaks to our state motto of freedom and unity. When Vermonters unite together, we're able to get incredible things done. And again, I think that Vermonters are tolerant, they're compassionate, but they care deeply about one another, especially in their time of need. And at other times they give you your space and allow you to be independent. But if you need some help, they're always there for you. Vermont's story is one of grit and determination, independent people coming together to build communities, live, work, and play. With the background of that beautiful landscape of the Green Mountains. So I think that holds true no matter what the situation is, whether it's a pandemic or it's a tropical storm. People come together in times of need. Well, we already were our own nation at one point, and not a lot of people outside our state are aware of this. But for about 14 years, before becoming the 14th state, we were the Independent Vermont Republic, which was founded in 1777. So I'm a big believer in preserving the Union. So I think one stint of independent was enough for us. The states came before the federal government. The states form the central government. The states need to be independent. They should be the proving ground for everything that we're doing. We can be unified as a country, but we need that independence throughout so that we can be the proving grounds. We're very proud of who we are as Vermonters, and maybe at times we think we're that special snowflake, but that's okay because we are special. I mean, we're a small state, we have a small population, but at the same time, that grit and determination is there, and we are fiercely independent. We use a lot of common sense. We're small enough so we do know our neighbor. If we're accused of thinking we're special, guilty as charged, because I think we are. We are unified more than we let on. We'll start with the state itself. I grew up in Barrie, blue collar Barrie, and I would say that we didn't have a lot in common with Montpelier. Montpelier was always the white collar. They were the business people. We were the gritty blue collar workers in the granite sheds and quarries and so forth. But you get outside of Barrie and Montpelier, and if you're in southern Vermont and somebody said they were from Montpelier and you're from Barrie, you would think that they're your neighbors. You treat them differently. And when you travel around New England, you might think Vermont and Massachusetts are so different. But when you're traveling maybe to the mid-Atlantic states, you're from New England. So you feel an association with others in the Northeast. And if you're traveling outside the country, which I've had the benefit of doing, and you're from the US, regardless of whether you're from Texas or Vermont, you're from the US. So there's that common bond. There's always a common bond that links everyone together. And I think that that's powerful. I believe that states are unique, and as they should be. We all have something to offer. We can all learn from one another. We're willing, keep an open mind and listen to different opinions. We can be better collectively as a result if we're willing to drop the ego. The pride we have, again, in our states, but also in our country. When you see Americans at the Olympics right now, they're very proud of their country. We're very proud of them, regardless of what state they're from, right? It doesn't matter. They're from the US. We support them. We cheer for them. We admire them because they're one of us. And we're very proud of who we are. When I ran for the Senate and was elected from Washington County, and had no idea what I was doing. As I said before, I had no idea. I didn't understand politics whatsoever. But I was befriended at that point in time by someone who had served in the Senate for quite a long time, in the House before, and then the Senate. And he took me under his wing, and I got to know him. We served on the morning committee together, the afternoon committee together, transportation, institutions. And that was Senator Dick Mazza. Senator Mazza is the dean of the Senate. He is someone, again, that's well respected on both sides of the aisle. I talk with him at least once a week, sometimes a couple times a week, still to this day. He still lives he has a store in Mallett's Bay. He lives in back in the store, right? There's just one door that separates the store from his home. It's not that he can't afford another home and have it separately. He's done very, very well for himself, but he chooses to live there because he likes the business. He likes the people. He is as common as anyone I know. And again, he taught me a lot about the process, taught me a lot about how you treat people. And he's bipartisan. I decided at 10 years, I thought that was enough for me. I did my public service. I was going to step down as senator and go back to real life. And at that point, the lieutenant governor's position opened up, and he said, "You should run for the lieutenant governor." And I said, "Well, why me?" He said, "You're the right person for the job. You are the person we trust. You can lead the Senate. You understand the Senate." And he says, "I'll support you." I said, "But you're a Democrat." And he said, "I'll support you publicly, privately. I'll fundraise for you. I'll do anything you need done. I'll do." He followed through. He had my first fundraiser. He went on the radio. He did all kinds of things promoting my campaign for lieutenant governor. And I had a difficult primary at that point in time against a little known name in Vermont, a guy named Mark Snelling. Now, the Snellings, that's like being a Kennedy from Massachusetts. So somebody from the Republican Party called me up and said, "Hey, geez, great that you've got Dick Mazza by your side, willing to do all these things to get you elected." He says, "But you remember, you got a Republican primary to get through here. You may want to just distance yourself from a Democrat right now. I mean, you got to get through the primary. He's going to be great for you if you make it through, and you're able to utilize him in the general election." And I thought about that for about 10 seconds. And I thought, if I have to distance myself from someone that I hold in such high regard, that's doing things for the right reason, that doesn't care whether you're Republican or Democrat, but thinks you're the best person for the job, and he's willing to stick his neck out in order to do that, it just wouldn't be worth it. I'd rather lose the primary than have to take that position. So I didn't, and I won the primary, obviously, and the rest is history.